It's hard to believe if I were to travel just 70 years ago, this little guide could potentially save my life. I'm Kara St. Cyr, and this is Safe Haven, Louisiana's Green Book. In 1947, traveling through the Jim Crow South was difficult and dangerous for African Americans. Yet musicians were spreading great music everywhere thanks to the Chitlin Circuit, an infrastructure of venues that catered to traveling Black musicians. And in New Orleans, one of the most iconic of any nightclub was the Dewdrop Inn, opened in 1935 and nicknamed the Groove Room. Just about every famous Black musician you can think of walked through these doors. James Booker, Joe Turner, Earl King, Allen Toussaint, James Brown, Ray Charles, Little Richard, Deacon John, Etta James, and Aretha Franklin. And that's just to name a few. But the legend of this establishment lies in the endless, wild stories that definitely broke the status quo of the time, like the drag performances, ventriloquists, snake charmers. They even let white people in. I'm driving through Central City, a culturally rich and historic neighborhood at the heart of New Orleans. Once upon a time, Black businesses prospered here. It's still largely an African-American neighborhood, but there's not much for a commercial district. We're meeting Kenneth Jackson at the Dewdrop Inn. His grandfather, Frank Payne, was the owner. Hey.
Hey.
How you doing? My name's Kara.
How you doing? Ken Jackson.
Ken Jackson. All right, Ken Jackson. Where are we at right now?
We are in Central City, New Orleans, standing in front of the Dewdrop Inn. This actually was a preschool for me. My grandmother came down here every day. So when she came to do her shift, we would ride with her and come down here while she was doing her work around. We'd be in the bar playing with the different little instruments on the stage. Or we'd be going behind the bar and eating the cherries and going over there where my uncle was and getting something to eat. Just like a fun place, you know. Everybody was just happy, you know, and it was just never a whole lot of negativity around here. You know, it was always peaceful. Everybody just kind of enjoyed themselves, kind of moved.
In the Green Book, it was listed as a nightclub, but Kenneth tells us it was also a hotel, a barbershop, and a restaurant.
You could come here, you could enjoy a show, you could have a meal, you could drink. If you got too drunk, you could spend the night, go and get your shoes shined, your hair cut, your perm, and your process, they used to call them back in the days.
So that's back when people had the conchs and the zoot suits and the big purple pimp suits?
That's what they called them, a conch.
A conch,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of places, you know, back then we couldn't go, you know, due to segregation and, you know, the way that the times were. This was a place where you didn't have to worry about any of that. It was a place where anybody could come, regardless of race. You know, my grandfather got in big trouble as a result of that. You know, there were several times where he actually went to jail because he would allow white people to come into the hotel, come into the bar, the restaurant, no problem. I had no idea as a kid that it was against the law for white people to be in here, because it was, but it was always white people here. You know, they would, just like everybody else, you know, it wasn't no big deal for anybody around here. But my grandfather actually had a battle that there were times where the police would come up during the middle of a show, come in and raid the place, and everybody who was in there, they would take and put them outside, come out and put them in what they call paddy wagons back then, and charge them with racial mixing. This is where all of the last shows took place, in this area here. Back in the days, there was a whole nother section behind here that was called the Groove Room. You could come here and you didn't have to worry about nobody hating you because of the way you dressed or who you liked. So, you know, that was also a part of the Dewdrop aura that brought a lot of people in.
This place, I can hear the music, I can see the vibrant characters that probably came through here.
Yeah, if these walls could talk.
If these walls could talk, I wonder what they would say.
Yeah, they'd have a hell of a story to tell.
After 31 years in business, the Dewdrop Inn closed down in 1970. Ken says a developer is planning to reopen it, similar to what it once was. And I think that's a great idea.
I think there's a strong chance that it'll be back on the map before too long, and people will be pulling up here the way they were back in the days.
ExxonMobil Baton Rouge is proud to support Safe Haven, Louisiana's Green Book. For more than 100 years, ExxonMobil has made a commitment to workforce diversity and the belief that reflecting on historic race relations is key to shaping a better future.